is presented by Eagle Broadcasting Corporation and Globe My Business. Create your success.
Greetings from the Philippines to the world. We are on Facebook Live on Eagle News and also on our streaming site, eaglenewslive.com. Watch us on our YouTube channel at Eagle News. I am Cesar Vallejos. Welcome to Open for Business. Join me discover the latest news and information in business around the world. Stay ahead of the curve from vision to action. Israel and the Philippines have an expanded commercial relations, and both countries recognize the significant mutual interests that these relations bring to our peoples. In Israel, the overseas Filipino workers are in high demand and well appreciated in diverse industries, especially in the healthcare industry. There is a growing number of Filipino tourists who are visiting Israel. And here in the Philippines, technological solutions from Israel are widely used in the areas of agriculture, communications, water treatment, and alternative clean energy fields. To talk more about the commercial relationship between the two nations is a significant pillar of business relations between the Philippines and Israel. The Israel Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines is considered a home for all the Filipinos and Israelis that are having bilateral business relations and for those who want to establish such relations. And we have with us the President of Israel Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, Mr. Sagiv Massad. He will join us after these headlines. SMC gets green light for Bulacan Airport, setting up equity fund. Renminbi transactions rise 74% on the first half of the year. And here are the details. San Miguel Corporation plans to set up a private equity fund to assure banks and other financing institutions that the company has the capacity to repay its future loans for the construction of the $15 billion Bulacan International Airport. To initially set up the private equity fund, SMC will put in about $5 billion in equity, which represents roughly 30% of the project cost, Ramon Ang, the company's president, explained. The shareholders of San Miguel will come up with new private equity capital so that the banks will be assured of our capacity, he said. The group is looking at Chinese and American banks for the loan facility. Ang noted that his group might be able to secure suppliers' credit, which removes the problems. We received a proposal from one big company, a Fortune 500 company, that offered to finish the project and finance the operations for 15 years after, he said. Wednesday saw the Department of Transportation issuing the notice to proceed to SMC for its $15 billion Bulacan International Airport unsolicited proposal, which was roughly 4 years and 2 administrations in the making. This is our single largest contribution to the Philippine economy and our biggest investment in the country thus far, Ang said. He noted that the Aerotropolis, which will have a capacity of 100 million passengers annually, is expected to contribute roughly 900 billion pesos per year to the Philippine GDP by 2025, as it is envisioned to fuel trillions of dollars in economic activity. Renminbi transactions are on the rise and are expected to increase further following the appointment of Bank of China Manila as the designated clearing bank for RMB business in the country. According to the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications, the total amount of RMB cleared in the Philippines from January to June 2019 was RMB 127.4 billion, an increase of 45.3% compared to the first half of the year of 2018. In terms of transactions, the total number of RMB clearing activities is up to 12,116 items, an increase of 73.9% compared to last year. RMB transactions are projected to grow with a local clearing bank in place as more Chinese tourists, traders, and investors, along with their Filipino counterparts, grow more confident in using the currency. This new facility will help drive the currencies used for payments and investments, further promoting cross-border settlements, trade financing, project investments, and loans. Ultimately, this projected surge in financial activity will foster the shared development of both countries, said Deng Jun, country head of Bank of China Manila. Bank of China Manila has been designated as the clearing bank for RMB business in the Philippines following the Memorandum of Agreement signed by the People's Bank of China and the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. As an RMB clearing bank, Bank of China Manila will enable local financial. When Open for Business returns, we will have Mr. Sagiv Masad, President of the Israel Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines. Open for Business will be back. Stay tuned.
Aquino here at Hatley Castle, one of the filming locations for the X-Men series. Don't forget to tune in to Digital Nest only on Net25.
Patuloy ang pagtaas ng kaso ng dengue sa bansa. Kaya naman, mahalagang alamin ang mga sintomas para sa agarang aksyon. Gaya ng lagnat, pananakit sa likod ng mata, pananakit ng ulo, rashes, pagsusuka, at pananakit at pamamaga ng mga kasukasuan. Kapag may lagnat ng lagpas ng 2 araw, magpakonsulta agad. Accurate and fair reporting. Not only from Batanes to Tawi-Tawi, but also abroad. Detailed and timely stories relevant to people all over the world. Catch all of these at Net25, your reliable source of news, entertainment, and technology updates.
We are open for business, and we are here with Sagiv Masad, President of the Israel Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines. He is also the Executive Director of Cybersecurity and Technology of a company called Business Profiles. Thank you for coming to Open for Business. We have a very interesting relationship, the Philippines and Israel, and of course, in terms of commercial relations, it's the Israel Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, which is basically the home of both Israelis and Filipinos who want to engage in business in both countries. Can you talk more of what the Israel Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines is doing here in Manila?
The main thing that we are trying to do is to be a bridge between the Israeli technologies, products, and needs, and the Filipinos' products and solutions and needs that can be consumed by both countries and can be enlarging the commerce and the business to business activities here and in Israel. The main challenge is to expose Israeli solutions to the Philippines and to expose the Filipino market to the Israelis. Many companies in the Philippines are looking for technology in United States, in Europe, in Canada, in Korea, in Japan. Technology from Israel is not branded very well or not being exposed yet to the Philippines with the full magnitude. And on the other hand, Philippines is not the main target market for the Israelis. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to enlarge and the exposure and the knowledge, and to support with our capabilities to enable Israelis and Filipinos to do businesses. And that is the main goal of the chamber.
Which is very interesting because, as you mentioned, there's a lot of solutions, technological solutions in the market that are coming from the different countries. But as you said, there is little exposure of Israeli technologies here in the Philippines. Why is that so, sir?
I think some of that is the fact that we are only 9 million people, small country, the size of New Jersey in the United States. We are doing a lot of noise in the world with news, but basically we're a small country. But people are exposed to solutions that are originally coming from Israel. Example, Waze.
Exactly.
Waze is an Israeli company. Until now it is in Israel. It was bought by Google, but it's operating from Israel. The USB that we are all using, the portable data, was invented in Israel. Viber was invented in Israel. In agriculture, the dropping irrigation was invented in Israel, and so on and so on. And the connectivity between Israel and these products is not very strong. However, when we are talking about today's medical innovation in the medical support, in agriculture, in water treatment, in cybersecurity, in IT in general, communication capabilities, these solutions are well known in almost all over the world. The fact is that R&D centers of almost all the big companies, from Samsung to Google and to Microsoft and Intel and so on and so forth, are located in Israel. And the reason is that the Israelis are number one in startups per capita and with unique innovation capabilities. And companies around the world recognize that, and it is much easier to bring the innovation centers or the R&D centers to Israel than to bring Israelis out of Israel. It is a little bit different than the situation here in the Philippines. Israelis don't like to go abroad and to work abroad. So abroad is coming to Israel. And a lot of the contribution to these big companies, big products, are done by Israelis in Israel. And on top of that, many innovation or startups that started in Israel are bought by international companies. And this is another source of income to Israel, exporting innovation. And we are very proud of that.
Which is very interesting, Sagib, because I think there was, I attended one lecture of a Nobel laureate in one of the conferences organized by the Asian Institute of Management. And the discussion then was really focused on the culture of innovation that Israel has. And based on that, on the professor's discussion, the culture of innovation starts very, very early as kindergarten. I think I remember one of his presentations showing him, a professor teaching technology to a very, young people. Can you describe that culture of innovation in Israel, and why is that culture thriving in your country?
There are many elements, but I think that the main one is the fact that we are having a little bit different culture than yours. We are much less polite. We are very direct, and that comes with the ability to say, to ignore, lose face. We are not having a problem of losing face, and when you are not having problem of losing face, you can dare. So you can say, I don't know, and it is okay. You can say, I failed, and that is not an issue. You failed, try again.
Which is basically the culture for startups.
And exactly. And the other thing is that teachers in Israel are not the source of the knowledge. They are the ones that steer you to gain the knowledge. And that is a big difference. Means my kids, when they were educated in Israel, they were asked from very young age to collect information and gather information with the internet or with books or whatever it is that enable you to open your mind and to understand that no one but you will build your knowledge. And with these two elements, I think that the culture is more open for innovative spirit. There are many other things. The fact that we unfortunately have to go to military compulsory service from 18 years old to 21 for boys and girls.
And that is mandatory.
And that is mandatory. But it is a positive experience. I mean, not the war, but the experience of comradeship, of responsibilities, of discipline. All these things bring people more mature to the beginning of life, to the education, the post school, high school education, BA, MA, and so on and so on. So at the end, it provides the environment that can support. The last thing is something that Israel has, and I think it is not an issue to implement in any other country. Since we need the young generation in Israel, and since we want them to work from in Israel to the rest of toward the rest of the world. So the government is the biggest venture capital in Israel. Means you go to the it is Authority for Innovation. You present your idea, you get seed money, and you start to do your things.
And that is the government doing it, so you don't have to get a private venture capitalist to do that.
You can, but not everyone has the ability to do that. Especially when the government understands, or it is a common knowledge that out of 10 startups, 8 will fail. And the private sector do not wish to do that risk. But the first fail make you better in your second trial and the third trial. So the government is providing these supports, and the two successful projects or startups bringing the government all the return on investment for the next batch and the next round and the next round, and that create a very unique environment. Now, it is not an environment that has unlimited resources or need a special government. Every government can do that. The only thing is to understand that in order to create a vivid, young environment of business development and of innovation, it is a responsibility of the government, and one of the tasks of the government. And once governments take that responsibility, the solutions are quite easily. And I can tell you that since I'm employ here a lot of Filipinos, and since I'm involved with the industry here and with the startups and the solutions here, they're very talented, your young people.
Let's talk about that when we get back. Open for Business will return. Stay with us.
Open for Business is presented by Globe My Business. Create your success.
Mga kamag-anak, kaibigan at kababayan po namin sa Middle East and North Africa, masayang balita ang hatid po namin sa inyo. Ang Net25 ay makakasama nyo na sa inyong mga tahanan. Mapapanood nyo na ang inyong mga paboritong programa sa pamamagitan ng OSN, ang pinakamalaking entertainment network sa buong rehiyon. Sa Channel 725, maihahatid na namin sa inyo ang mga pangunahing balita at mahahalagang impormasyon. Kaya makisaya, makisalo tuwing umaga at panoorin ang mga programa ng mga hinahangaang celebrities and OPM artists, same day as the Philippines. You can also watch Net25 live and on demand anytime, anywhere on any mobile device on OSN Play. Kaya tawag na sa OSN to learn more on how to get Net25. Sa Net25 on OSN, siguradong at home ka dito.
We are open for business, and still with me is Mr. Sagiv Masad, President of the Israel Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines. Sagiv, we were talking earlier about the culture of change, the culture of innovation, the culture of, I could say, and I've read a lot about entrepreneurship in Israel, and you emphasized a very exciting, or the driver of that innovation, which is your education. Can you talk a little more about that educational system in Israel, and how, which is very significant when you said the teachers, the professors are there not as a source of knowledge, but they steer it, they give that kind of direction. So there is some sort of that culture for the students or the citizens to create.
I have a story that we used to tell from time to time, that the difference between a mother in many countries and the Israeli mother. Mm-hmm. So when the kid arrive back from school, mother asks, how many questions did the teacher ask you? Mm-hmm. The Israeli mother used to ask, how many questions did you ask the teacher? and I think it is somewhere there. The fact that from the time that we had to leave our country during the Roman Empire after they destroyed the Second Temple and exiled all the Jews. The way, the methodology of learning and studying was to question about things or about events or about rules in the Bibles, in the Old Testament, and in our wisdom books. So the whole process of sharpening your brain and acquire knowledge at these times, since nowadays, are with questions and never getting an answer by others. Answers should be provided by yourself. That is something that is in our, I don't know to say DNA, but in our deep in our culture. That helps this spirit. However, and I want to say it again, I'm meeting young people here. I'm well involved with innovation centers and acceleration centers here in the Philippines. I'm meeting a lot of local businessmen which built their own companies from scratch. They are all from the right material. They are all with the right capabilities. They're excellent in what they are doing. It means that all the ingredients to create an innovative environment are here. There are issues of structural complication with the fact that most of the venture capitals here are private. And they are demanding relatively very fast ROI, return on investment. And the fact that innovation cannot go on short ROI. If you demand short ROI or a very fast return on investment, it means that you are limiting the innovation spirit. People will go on sure, secure elements, which of course will prevent breakthrough or huge jump.
So which means that there is more reason for the government to somehow give that huge support, because it is probably the government who can demand for a longer term for the ROI.
Exactly.
Unlike private businesses who would always demand for immediate
shorter. I don't know if it's immediate, but shorter. The next thing is that private joint ventures will not take the risk of finance 8 failures out of 10. And that is something that is a must in the process of trial and error. And
based on the studies that you have seen, or historically, is that the figure? 8 out of 10 startups fail?
Averagely, it is
Yes.
9 out of 10.
Oh, it's 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to come up or fund the startups that are successful, so you have to
Try.
finance 100 for you to produce at least 10 successful startups.
And try. And even very successful companies, when you look at their beginning, at the beginning of the road, you see that they tried and failed and tried and failed. And the third or the fourth or the fifth time, they came and with the right thing and broke through and succeeded to grow. This is something that has to be adopted. Now the private market cannot support that. And that is the place where government need to do well. Should it begin with a wide scale? The answer is no. But the process of the ability to keep young, talented people here by supporting them to follow their dreams and by developing their own or follow their own desire and develop their own ideas is something that is responsibility of the government and cannot be met by the private sector.
Now, sir, you mentioned earlier that you have worked, especially with business profiles as executive director of a cybersecurity and technology company, that you have worked with a lot of young talent Filipinos, and you have seen the talent of Filipinos. What do you think should further drive their talent, their expertise, and the skills that they needed, so that they will be prepared and as prepared as the Israeli startups and entrepreneurs? Is there a major adjustment in terms of support? But how do you assess, how do you see the characteristics of the Filipino talent?
It is not only my observation. What I'm doing in my company, we are providing access to the Filipino market to Israeli companies. We are representing here in the Philippines over 30 companies from Israel on this area of cybersecurity and homeland security and so on. And I can tell you that it is not only my observation. One of the biggest projects here by the government, by the way, the National Cybersecurity Center of the government is a project that our company is involved with a very big Israeli company in cybersecurity worldwide. And we finished almost 3 months of knowledge transfer to the local government employees that will utilize this cybersecurity center, the National Cybersecurity Center of the Philippines. And this center is based on technology which will push the Philippines to the front line of nations in terms of cybersecurity defense. And the impression from our trainers about the capability of the local young people that are working or that will work in this cybersecurity center of the DICT, I heard more than one time that they are the best team that this company trained. And you can believe me, we are not exposing our businesses around the world because this is the nature of cybersecurity. Philippines is not the first and not the second and not even the third country that this company is establishing cybersecurity solutions on a nationwide, and it was the fact that they were very much impressed by the local people, the local engineers and cybersecurity defenders that they train. Means that, and I have a lot of examples like that, means that the capabilities are here. But now I want to share another story which made me a little bit sad. I have also some businesses in United States and visited in San Francisco in the Valley, and entered to a restaurant with my friends. So we were a table of Israelis. It was easy. We are speaking our language, Hebrew. On the other table, I heard Tagalog. Since I'm living here, I understand already, and I came.
And this is in the United States?
In the United States,
and
in the Silicon Valley. And I approached them and introduced myself and asked what are they doing there. And of course, they're engineers in some of the companies, the Silicon Valley companies. And I said, look, I need talents like you in the Philippines. I will pay you American salaries. I need you with us. Will you consider to come? And the answer was that maybe later, not yet, not now. And that is something that made me sad, because it was clear that they are working in good companies and they are probably earning good money and they have good life. But they're Filipinos. And to make Philippines even better, even greater, they need to be here. And I know that Philippines is very proud with the workers, the foreign workers all around the world. And I can tell you that in Israel we have, and we love them. They're really unique society among the non-Israelis that are living in Israel. But over there in the Silicon Valley, I really wanted, and I had two open positions which they suit perfectly, but they didn't want to come, and that is something that I need to enlighten the task to keep the best brains of the Philippines in the Philippines for the Philippines, and with that, Philippines can become a hub for so many IT solutions because the capabilities are here.
Right.
People don't see their future here, and that is something that I think should be addressed by the government and by peoples and companies that can give solutions for them.
Well, as they say, there is a Filipino diaspora where a lot of the Filipino talents are really the brightest, the best Filipinos and go to different parts of the world. But to some extent, while that is sad, on the other side, there are some positive indications also, because the key driver of our economy is not only the BPOs, but the remittances of the overseas Filipino workers. But yes, we agree with you that there has to be a way for us, for the Philippines, for the Filipino talent to come back and share their talent with us. But my question, Sagib, is what's the common interests between Filipino and Israeli engineers or technologies or innovators like you?
I think that let's take the agriculture environment here in the Philippines, and let's take out of the whole agriculture big industry. Let's take water. Okay, water in Israel is a fundamental problem. We are a desert. We were a desert country without water, and it limited us in our daily life. It is not a shortage in Makati for a few weeks or months not to water your gardens. It was for months, for years.
Yes.
Campaigns of save water in when you take shower, drink, and so on and so on. And the Israeli government decided that there need to be a fundamental solution for that. So today, over 70% of the water that we are drinking are coming from the sea, desalination element. Another thing is the issue of grey water. Grey water are a source of pollution. Contain the underground water, and so on, and the sea and the rivers and so on. So they also decided to take initiative on that, and today over 90% of our grey water are purified and pushed to the desert to become agricultural water. And the fact that we overcome these shortages enable us to push water to places where agriculture was never existed because of lack of water. Now this is essential. We didn't have water. It's not
unlike the Philippines, it's surrounded by bodies of water.
Yes. And here comes the interesting thing. In many places in the Philippines, you can't drink from the tub because of the quality of water.
Yes.
And that is something that can be fixed with Israeli technology. Not because of Israeli technology is something special, because we develop it, otherwise we couldn't have water. Now let's enjoy these technologies here in the Philippines, purifying water, cleaning underground water, preventive approach toward contamination of rivers, of seashores with grey water. push water by solar energy pumps instead of electricity to the far and the more deserted areas where agriculture cannot or you cannot cultivate the ground because of lack of water there, and enlarge the amount of lands that the Philippines is cultivating. Provide water to areas where palay can be grown, but there is not enough water there unless you push the water there, and so on and so on. And these technologies and solutions are created for a country which is struggling with lack of water, but they can be adopted and can suit to the problems of the Philippines very well, with reasonable price and with the ability to create significant change or significant approval.
But do you think that these solutions would still be applicable in the Philippines, even we have different weather conditions?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because gray water here in the Philippines are almost not treated, if at all. And just imagine that you will take this gray water and you will purify them and you will push them to areas where there is not enough natural water. You are doing a new ecosystem. First of all, rivers will be cleaned, and the second, the shore will be clean. Fishery will be more vivid. More areas will be cultivated, and it will create a circle of new production which can be a game changer. That is one thing. Another thing is the way that technology in Israel is dealing with crops, whether it is seeds with genetic improvements, or it is the ability to water and grow them on a healthy environment without all these chemicals, and with better results. These things are things that again came in Israel as a need. Today we are providing all our food, and we are exporting food, agriculture products to Europe. And it is a benefit for us because we have sun almost all year. Now we have water, enough water all year. And they are looking for fresh vegetables and fruits in their winters, long winters. So we are making money out of this technology, which return very fast the investments. Here in the Philippines, for example, the palay, the need to grow more, can be met by these technologies in order to do three things that Secretary Dar mentioned in his plan. The first thing is to provide more technology to the farmers. The second thing is to bring young generation to back to the fields. And if technology will be involved, then young generation will be keen to work. They will work less hard with more money. And the last thing is to address the farmers with 1 or 2 hectares farms. These three things cannot be done without the elements that Israel can support with. The technology, the knowledge, and the training of the farmers to do that. And we are trying in our Chamber of Commerce, we are trying to promote it with one of your universities, and we hope that we will enlarge it to other agriculture universities in the Philippines.
Okay, that's perfect. We have a lot of technologies that can easily be adopted by the Philippines as long as they're good, as we maintain that good cooperation. And of course, your chamber, the Israel Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, is very crucial. We mentioned about water, agriculture, cybersecurity, and technology in general. and you have an event that's upcoming. Is there where, can you tell us more about this so that our viewers can go to that, and hopefully how can they contact the Israel Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines so that, you know, a lot of entrepreneurs, startups who are watching now, they can easily, and business owners, they can easily go to maybe your website, and how can they contact you for support in terms of new innovations that business owners and Israeli owners, business owners can really do several partnerships and collaboration?
So first of all, we have this coming Monday, 23rd of September, the Embassy of Israel, together with the Israeli Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, we are promoting, we are having an event to promote an expo in Israel that called WOTEC, Water Technology, WOTEC. And WOTEC is actually an international expo which expose new innovations in water technology to those who are interested. We at the ICCP, the Israeli Chamber of Commerce is called ICCP. We at the ICCP are trying to support to those who intend to go to Israel with packages of tourism and so on. Our website is iccp.com.ph, and I encourage everyone that want to join us. As we said, we are the home for everyone that want to do business here in the Philippines and from Israel to the Philippines. And we will support, and we will be very happy to host people that want to come and see and hear about these potential corporations.
Thank you very much. That's Mr. Sagiv Masad, Executive Director of the Cybersecurity and Technology of Business Profiles and the President of the ICCP, or the Israel Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines. 1 hour is very short to talk with you and about the Israel-Philippine relationship. I hope that you can come again at the studio, and hopefully we can do a partnership so that we can feature more about the many opportunities and collaborative work that we can develop together with the Philippines and Israel, and hopefully, you know, those opportunities that will benefit businesses, not only Israel entrepreneurs, so that we can probably also develop our own Filipino makers of Waze or USB or Viber. Thank you very much, Mr. Masad. Indeed, Israel has a lot more to offer. That is why the Israel Ministry of Tourism is now more focused on promoting tourism to Filipinos. One of their good news, the Filipino tourists, no visa needed. Just book your flight and visit Israel. This is Net25's interview to Ms. Sofia Prizan-Pincas, Director, Asia Marketing Department of the Israel Ministry of Tourism. Watch this. Thank you very much. Open for Business. We'll be back. Stay tuned.
We have people who are responsible for developing the Filipinos market. We have boots on the ground. We have an office in the Philippines. We have a director from Israel that's responsible for the travel market here. And they are the address for every need. We do joint marketing agreements. We have had a digital campaign to promote the travel from Philippines to Israel. We have seminars, educational seminars for the agents. And also, we believe that once we're here and the market will start moving around and more Filipinos will start coming to Israel, the word-to-mouth issue will come in and help us out. We are looking into different markets in the Philippines. We're not concentrating only in Manila. We believe in also Cebu, Davao, Iloilo are also important markets for us. And we're going there with our trade from Israel also, that making an effort to make the marketing. I think that the amazing thing about Israel is once you go there, you understand that you should have been there before. I think the direct flight is not the issue. It will be a game changer, and it's very important. But there are ways to get to Israel. The fact is their numbers are growing. There are a lot of aircrafts that you can get there with one stop. I think the major challenge is maybe the misconceptions of the Philippines that they have about Israel. For example, the visa issue. You don't require a visa. There are not a lot of countries that are not required a visa for the Filipinos. So Israel is open. The doors are open and you are welcome. And this is one misconception that is one of our jobs is to fix. Every tourist who gets to Israel becomes our ambassador.
Okay.
Once you get to Israel, you see good food, good people, hospitality. I think that once a traveler comes to Israel from the Philippines, he will get back with a spiritual experience that everyone would like to experience at least once in his life. And in addition to that spiritual travel, visiting all the places of the Holy Land, he would enjoy great weather, great food, and great traveling experience. You are welcome to Israel. You don't need a visa. Please book your ticket and come over. For more information, you can go to our website, goisrael.com.